password on this computer just in case. And I feel like we should just go for it. And if within like 5 minutes it then changes from preparing to like actual streaming, then we'll just start over again.
Yeah.
And then if it really is live streaming, then we're good and we've done it. Is that a good game plan? Because this thing is going to stay preparing for like 7 hours. So, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Berg doesn't like you, turns out.
Ready.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm Tanisha. We've got Brian Crest here. We've got Megan Palmer. We're with Brick by Brick Real Estate. We're going over each month. We have a different topic that we talk about with market stats. And this month we're going over the cost of waiting. So I'm going to go ahead and, if I don't break anything, turn.
That's happened a lot lately.
I'm just having a really hard time. Okay. So Brian, you are now the host, so you can drive. He's going to go ahead and share his screen, and we're going to jump into some stats. We're going to talk about different things. I had reposted, if you're not following our Facebook page on Brick by Brick Real Estate, new article done by KSL about baby boomers and how a lot of people are looking to downsize and cash out in this market. We all know that the market always fluctuates up and down. There's always going to be different driving forces. So a lot of people are looking to cash out and take advantage of the market, downsize into something a little bit smaller. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and then just the market in general, if it makes sense to buy now or wait. And Brian, can you step us through what we're looking at?
I will. Yeah, a lot of people ask about, hey, in this crazy market, what if I just wait, to buy later? Maybe prices will go up, the inventory will increase, there'll be more homes available. Yeah, maybe, but we want to, it's sometimes hard to quantify those answers to those questions. We get those questions a lot. You two guys do, of course. We get those questions all the time. And it's really difficult to quantify it. So this tool that we have here lets us do that. And we customize these per person and per property, per scenario, whatever you want to do. And we do these a lot. And we can deliver it to you in a nice format. But let me walk you through this. So what we're looking at is a home for $450,000. And we can change that to whatever you'd like. Answers to those questions.
Sorry, we just started going on Facebook. So if anyone's wondering, we're going live.
Is that what the feedback means it's working? Is that the deal?
Yes. I got our video up. So if you're just joining us, this is Brick by Brick, Megan Tanisha, and we're talking with Brian today. He just barely started going over a little bit of information. So Brian, if you want to backpedal just a little bit, we can get everyone caught up with us.
I'll backpedal. Story of my life. I'll backpedal.
First, please.
So we get a lot of questions. I'm on the mortgage side with Tanisha and Megan. They get a lot of questions from people who want to buy a home. They say, well, gosh, maybe I should just wait. It's kind of a difficult market. As we know, it's multiple offers on houses and so forth, right? So the question is, what if I just waited 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever? Well, we have a lot of answers to that, of course, but it's more difficult to quantify that, put numbers to them. So what would it mean if I wait for 6 months, a year, and all that? So what I have here is a tool that we can use to actually do just that. And we're going to look at an example, just kind of a random house at $450,000 purchase price, and go from there. We customize these. We do these for everybody who wants to buy a home. We can do these any scenario that you would like. We can do them high, low price, condominiums, townhomes, or whatever. So we can kind of fiddle with these. So what this tool has is pretty powerful, actually. It has a lot of predictions as far as what we think home values are going to do, what we think interest rates are likely to do, and so forth. So let's take a look at it. So what this is saying, I'm going to take it past all the gobbledygook, but there's the input stuff you don't have to worry about. But what we're looking at is, okay, I've got this house that Tanisha thinks, hey, we could probably get this home for $450,000 right now. It's kind of a likely guess, right? So it's okay. Let's take that house for $450,000 right here and see loan today, and assume that we're going to put 5% down and just get a plain Jane 30-year mortgage. Keep it real simple. So the question is, what happens if I wait? Well, here are the numbers generally about what it would be if you bought it today. But what if we waited 6 months? Well, a couple things are going to happen. we think home prices are going to continue to increase. The estimate that we're using here, and this uses a lot of data that seems to be relatively conservative, I think, but it seems to be pretty solid anyway, something we can go off of, is we think that the appreciation over the next 12 months is about 6 to 7%, 7-8%. So let's use a nice round number of 6.97%, and that's the prediction for the next 12 months. That's what we believe homes will generally appreciate for in Salt Lake, Utah County areas. So if you take it back to this waiting for 6 months right here, we believe prices will be higher. That same house would go from 450,000 sales price to 469,450. That's just the math, right? So everybody knows that increases your purchase price, obviously, but what else does that do to you in terms of several other things? How much, if you want to put that same 5% down, that will increase, and so forth. What will happen to your payment and all that kind of stuff? Well, let's take a look at it over time. And a couple of things we want to look at is, in addition to the price, of course, is our interest rates. This is tough to guess, but let's say I'm right on top here. Rates right now are high twos. They've taken a little bit of a reprieve. They were going up this year. They backed off a little bit, and I think that I think should stay there for the next, we think, 6 months or so. With the inflation numbers are kind of doing okay. So but after a year, we believe rates are going to start heading back up again by the end of this year, maybe last quarter of this year. So that's kind of what I'm using. So if you look at waiting for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, that's what we think rates are going to start increasing like this. That's our best guess. So what does that do in terms of monthly payment and annual cash flow and all that? So here's the kind of the summary. So if you buy now, this one's easy. Appreciation of property. We started out at 450, and of course it's going to go up over time to the higher numbers in year 3. Payments over time, of course, are going to increase as well because you're borrowing more money. If you still put 5% down of a higher sales price, your payment's going to increase over time. And then, of course, as you get into a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we believe interest rates, of course, will be higher. Is a good guess anyway. And so that will increase your total monthly payment. So here's how to quantify this exactly. So if you wait 6 months, your payment is going to be about $180 a month higher, mainly because you're borrowing more money. A year, your payment goes up about this much, $326. And here, right here are the annual numbers. So this is what waiting, let's say 1 year, for example, will cost you about $3,900 a year of extra interest, because you have a higher balance. If you're a loan, you're borrowing more. Your interest rate's a little bit higher. Your interest cost is higher, and everything is kind of higher that way, and it all adds up. So that's really kind of how to quantify it, and then we can throw in different assumptions and all that kind of stuff. But that's basically it.
So
Brian, a question. Oh, sorry, Cece, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, on the different assumptions, how easy it is to plug in changes. So for example, we run stats every 30 days on a community called Independence at the Point. It's right at the point of the mountain between Salt Lake and Utah County. And just over from the last time to this time when we polled, pricing, the average price for the whole community went up about 34 grand. So I know our assumption, can you scroll up a little bit to where we were talking about that difference? So we went from, where were we?
Went from 450,000.
So if it was 450, and then what was the estimated? Okay, 469, right?
That was 6 months. So yeah, the 1 year is like 7%. So what the 31,000 is what you're estimating?
Yeah, well, so that difference there is 19,000, right? And
in 6 months, yeah.
6 month time period in the market that we're at right now. I mean, in the past 30 days, the average price has gone up almost 35 grand. So how do we, obviously we don't know
you could,
how long that's gonna last or whatnot, but can we up that percentage to see what difference that makes?
Yeah, so what you can do, I can edit this.
I mean, let's almost like triple that.
So so your 31,000 is how long? What period of time?
So that's over 30 days.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can do it that high.
So I mean, even if we were to average it lower, But I mean,
And I mean,
this
in those
market-
stats that we pulled, we did have one home that was astronomically higher than all the rest. So that
Yeah.
might be skewing our numbers just a little bit.
I mean, yes,
Um,
no. I feel like there's always that one house, but then that one house becomes the new comp and it's the new benchmark, and that just continues to waterfall and roll over in the next one. I mean, we're going up 20, 30,000, like new construction, their price increments are like 8,000 a week. So obviously at some point the market's going to shift, but as of right now things are just continuing to go up. And so in the next 6 months I don't see anything crashing. There's not a bubble to burst. So unless there's a huge outside influence, yes, the interest rates are climbing back up, but there's not a huge significant change there. So if things continue to stay the same or increase at the rate that they are, what are we looking at? Because I look at these numbers, I'm like, $3,000-4,000 over a year, that's not too bad. Like I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. But I feel like in this market, in this temperature, with these factors, I want to know what those numbers jump up to, because this is kind of a normal appreciation, normal growth. In this market,
so-
what does that do?
So give me I can force a number. So if you're 450, and if you're saying 31,000, that's basically 4% in a month. So you're talking 24% in 6 months, right?
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna nod and say yes, because that math is not my strong.
So wait, hold on.
And Google know everything.
So if you're times 0.24, it's $100,000. So that's 450 or 550.
I mean, that's
Whoops.
that's not something I'm blinking at. Like I feel like when looking at what's sold,
You know, the
go.
thing, yeah, that actually sounds not that far off, to be
Yeah,
honest.
no,
We
it's
do
not.
have homes that we've done CMAs on at the beginning of the year in January and then just reran them recently. And we are up anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 in value.
I mean, even 80 to 120, like it's a lot.
Okay, so let's say in a year we're 600,000.
Sounds
450
great. Buy a house.
Yeah, let me change it. We update the down payment a little bit. So I'm gonna make all the down payments 5%. And the down payment, by the way, if you switch the down payment to 10%, 20% down, the numbers don't change. Your relative numbers don't change much. You know, the differences.
And I want to stop you there and kind of make a point on that, because we have a lot of first-time home buyers and people who are saying, okay, I'm just going to wait over the next year or two, save up for a down payment. Really, whether you have an extra 10 grand in your down payment or not, how much, Brian, since you're kind of like the man of this market, how much does an extra 10 grand actually do for them when it comes to their loan?
A $10,000 extra down is usually about, it's disappointingly small, actually. I mean, you're talking about $10, $15. I mean, it's not usually not much.
And especially after you factor in the appreciation of the homes that they're looking at, if you're moving into a new price range for the same kind of home at that point, it doesn't make sense to wait.
Yes. So I mean, if the market's going up with new construction, let's say 8,000 a week, within 2 weeks, I mean, there's your down payment. So I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to make is if that's the only reason you're preventing yourself from buying a house, like let's talk, because if that is making $5, $10, $25 monthly difference in your payment, it's not worth it. You're going to get priced out in this market.
And sometimes, sometimes it can matter. Like I said, if you put an extra 10,000 down, but it gets you to another level, like the way down payments work in mortgage land is that it's 3%, 5%, 10%, 15%, and so forth. You can put down 11% if you like, but it usually doesn't help you much because the mortgage insurance is what you pay as part of your monthly payment when you put less than 20% down. It's not going to affect that. It simply just makes you borrow less. So it's, $30 or whatever. It's not going to really, and if you look at this cost of waiting analysis that we're doing here, by the time you save the extra 10,000, you've lost it in appreciation of the loan,
And Brian, you're also really amazing. When we first bring up IRA to you, you kind of look at their credit, their payments, all those things as a whole. And if you can see something where they've got a loan out for an item that's costing, say $300 a month, and see where they can save money on that to have more money for their mortgage, you're really good at giving them that information.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to look at this as the whole picture because it's not just the mortgage. The mortgage is the big one, but there's all sorts of other things that fit into it. A lot of times we'll have people who have been saving or sold a house even and said, hey, I want to take all my money from the sale of my house, put it into my new home. Well, first of all, from a tax standpoint, you don't need to do that. A lot of people think, hey, I sold my house, the title company handed me a check for $100,000. I have to put that $100,000 into the new home as a down payment, or I have to pay taxes. And that's just not the case. So the cash that you walk away from when you sell your home is a function of what you sold it for and what you owed. That's it. You can use some of it, part of it, none of it, whatever, depending on what we come up with is your best option. But a lot of times we take some of that money and pay off other debt. So your
Pay off
overall,
your cars, pay off
yeah,
your loans, pay off your credit cards, get yourself in a better financial situation.
yeah, because getting out of debt is all about reducing your monthly payments.
Mhm.
As dumb as that sounds, I mean, it's about cash flow. So if we can improve your cash flow, a lot of people will sell their home. We do this. This happens a lot, actually, especially in this market. It's a great time to sell, obviously, right? So you can sell your home for top dollar. Take that money. We have had people pay off, get rid of that student loan for once and for all, pay off a car or two or something, right? And then buy the new home. And I've had people's payments stay the same, go down even.
Yeah.
Overall payments. Yeah, and then you end up with a nicer house, same monthly outflow, you're good to go. We do that quite a bit.
A comment I had made at the beginning, before Facebook Live wasn't working, is KSL just produced an article that was talking about how baby boomers are taking advantage of this market right now. And they're selling top dollar, for what their home is, because it's too big. They're looking to downsize. So because they're able to purchase a home, or maybe a townhome or a condo or something that better fits their needs, they're able to take out that extra equity, cash out, and like Brian said, you don't have to put it all into a new home. And in that case, you can invest it into your own retirement plan. And that's why I love being a part of this team. And that's why our name, kind of our foundation, is Brick by Brick, and Your Dreams Matter, because we're looking at things as a whole perspective. It's not, let's just buy and sell a house and then wave goodbye. We want to be able to look at your entire goals of what you're hoping to accomplish and say, okay, hey, yes, we're capable of doing this, but in your case, because your goals are X, Y, and Z, it's going to put you in a better situation to, put X amount into retirement, pay off your cars, input these things. And on the opposite side, even with Brian and helping people who are looking to do credit repair, if you're not ready to buy or sell, that's okay. We can still build out a roadmap. So whatever end of the spectrum you're on, we're here and we want to help and we want to talk. So let's look at what the numbers do kind of in this market of waiting with the things increasing so much.
Okay, I think I've got this right. I think on the fly, it's pretty close.
Brian loves it when we put him on the spot.
You're like, this is not pretty anymore.
Okay, I got something wacky here.
I mean, it's so hard because the market this year, it's not like anything we've ever seen. This year is so different, where things just keep increasing at an astronomical value that our computers don't even know how to keep up with it.
That's what, especially these fancy computers, they're the worst. This real quick.
Help me.
Confirm.
Who could have predicted that this market would look like this year? I mean, really.
Please confirm. Please confirm. Please confirm. See what happens when I do stuff live. Now it's jammed up. No.
On that for a minute, me and Kecia have some kind of exciting news.
Yeah.
So if you're anywhere near at the point, so we're kind of between Salt Lake County and Utah County, just right in the middle there at the point, we are going to do an event on June 1st. We don't have all the details yet, but we're going to be posting something very soon to our Facebook, Brick by Brick Real Estate. Have you guys ever heard of a Lollipuff party?
First time.
What?
Super excited about it.
So this really cool thing, you guys, these people make these amazing like sculptures out of cotton candy. They're amazing. And they taste really, really good. They have like 10 different flavors you can pick from. So we're going to be inviting everyone to come over, meet us, and let's talk about where you're at in your real estate journey. And not even just your real estate journey, your life journey. We want to know where you're at now, where you're looking to go. And we want to be able to give you a custom plan to get where you want to be. And so come and hang out with us, get some really yummy treats, and figure out how we can help you the best.
Definitely. With this event, we're going to have a form that you can fill out. So that way we have an idea of where you're looking at going, where you're at now. If you have a home, we're happy to do a free CMA for you. Each time slot with the Lollipuff is about 5 minutes for them to create. So as they're creating this magical sculpture out of cotton candy, we're happy to talk with you guys, figure out a little bit more, set appointments for future follow-ups. But yeah, like Megan said, we're going to be posting this event. We'll have a form to fill out. Hopefully we'll see you out, and otherwise still reach out to us. We can still talk. We want to meet you. We want to be able to talk more. So Brian, on this, I know this is breaking your computer.
It hates my guts. Seriously, the thing hates me.
But,
Out of scope, it says.
well,
Yeah.
honestly, what we're talking about is out of scope. It's going to be out of range. So maybe we can just talk to the points that, all right, obviously this isn't going to project all things perfect, but with the points that are kind of skewing, let's talk about what it's doing, why it's freaking out, and why it's not happy. Because I feel like that's important to understand why in a traditional market, this plug and play is simple, and why is it more complex now?
Yeah, it's more complex because as we get into these particular price ranges, the way the guts of this thing are set up for a maximum loan amount, so we're kind of exceeding that is what's happening. So, but yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to make this work for those price ranges without going back into the guts, and you don't want to watch that. That's very, very unattractive. But the idea is, if you go back to the previous, I think I'm just going to mess this up. But if you go back to the previous example, it's the same thing. You're losing price value because values increase, and your down payments increase the same amount based on the same percentage of down payment. So it's kind of looking into a crystal ball a little bit, but the crystal ball, like I said, was up 31,000 in the last 30 days, right?
Yeah.
It was
Which is crazy.
34,876 was the average home price, and this is pulling about 2,000 homes in the area.
And this was for single family homes as well.
Yep, single family homes. But in general, like we also have a list, and a lot of these. So last month, the highest price point was 50 grand over list price, which list price is close to what appraisal is. So it's more than likely 50 grand over appraisal value. With this last month, the highest one is 77. So just between those, the past 60 days, you're going up 20 grand over appraisal value in addition to that. And a lot of our calculators aren't set up to do that. So at the end of the day, if you have a home and you want to know what it's worth, it's kind of like getting an appraisal or a CMA at this point is really hard. Before, when I would run CMAs, I would only look at closed, ones that have already completed their contracts. Now I have to look at active and under contract, because by the time they close, those will be the new comps. But really, those price increment changes are so drastic that it makes it hard to kind of figure out what it looks like, which is a great thing for a seller. On a buyer side, it's kind of, you're putting in as many offers as you can to be able to get under contract. And sometimes it works out. Other times you're just rolling from one property to another. So it's definitely a crazy market that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I would throw in, as far as finding out that value of your home, you've got to talk to Tanisha and Megan, because just spitballing those numbers, you have no idea. And you guys have seen, there are some houses you see that sit on the market for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they just,
Yeah, things are moving really quick right now, and we've noticed if something's not priced correctly, if it's priced too high, people are getting too greedy. They see the numbers, they want to project out higher and higher. It just doesn't work. We've seen a couple of homes actually get price reduced lately because they're just kind of reaching what they want to get. Yeah. And so it can really help you get in the sweet spot of knowing, this is what I know your home can sell for. This is the base price that I want to get. And then if you get offers up and above that, great. That's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, but if you see a house, if you're looking on the MLS, for example, for homes for sale, and you see a house that's been on the market for 32 days, you're like, ew. What's wrong with this house, right?
Right, that's your first thought.
A client, a recent new client who's for sale by owner. We're taking professional pictures of their house today. We're getting it listed by the end of the week. And there's definitely a strategy. A lot of people are like, just throw your house up. You can do it on your own, sell it, it's fine. And there's a lot of for sale by owners who are still looking. And this client specifically, I feel like, the strategy that we're taking is completely different than what they thought they wanted going in, but at the end, it's going to get them the results that they want. So we're happy to do that. And if you're thinking about it, let's definitely talk. With this last note, kind of cost of waiting, I think it's almost funny. If you go back to our cost of waiting a couple months back, so we do monthly stats every month, but we're rotating each quarter 4 different topics. So maybe not the last one, but the one before. When we did this, we're like, you're cool. You can wait 6 months. Like you can wait time. Like you're totally fine. The next 3 months, nothing's going to change. Like the tone of last time we did this to now has completely shifted. And so next quarter, we'll be doing cost of waiting again. And I would just say in this market now, anytime you own a property, you almost bookmark your spot. So for example, if the market goes up, your house is going to continue to go up. So even if I own a townhome or a condo, just owning that, I can keep up with the market because now I'm going to have that appreciation within my house. And so if you're looking to buy right now and your dream home is just not affordable, try to bookmark your spot, whether that's downgrading into a smaller home, potentially a townhome or a condo. Still getting into something is better because now you can be able to follow the equity and you have something to kind of hang on to the market that's going to fluctuate higher to where your income isn't going to be able to keep up as much as real estate is at this point.
Yeah, a recent article we actually just posted on our At the Point group on Facebook was talking about how the market in Utah has shifted up about 30%, but cost of living is not on that trend and wages are not on that trend. So the more the real estate market goes up, wages are not matching that. So the longer you wait, the more of a disadvantage you might be at.
Definitely. Perfect. Well, are there any other comments, questions, last minute throw-ins of things that we want to talk about?
I got nothing. My computer's broken.
I would just say for everyone to watch for our Lollipop event to go live on Facebook. We're going to be having that event coming out soon, so you can register and pick a time slot. Also, neighbors, friends, if you're in the area and you just want to stop by and get a really cool cotton candy and say, hey, we'd love to see you too.
Definitely. Our website is brickbybrickrealestate.com. Check out our events. We have a lot of fun things planned for this summer. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to see you out there. And this is when we leave Brian and let him fend for himself.
That's right.
Let him scramble and figure out how to end the video.
Not good.
Here
Not
comes
wise.
the real folks.
Yes. So thank you for joining us. We'll be out. We do it the first week of every month. Next month or next week, let's do a quick forecast. What's our topic? I'm pulling it up. You think with only 4 of them rotating, it'd be
I think that'd be almost memorizable.
Okay. I've got to prioritize what's in my brain. All right. So next month we shifted. So we're doing forecasting. So we're going to forecast what we think the market's going to look like, which may be comical. So definitely bring your popcorn. And that's what we'll be talking about. And we look forward to seeing you guys then.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.